सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां तपोभिः क्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते. We are in the 59th shloka. So we finished with the 58th. Akhandananda rupasya tasyananda lavashritaha brahmadhyaha taratamyena bhavanti anandinaha lavaha. So when he shows the difference between an Akhandakara Brahman and the Ishvara. Ishvara, any form of Brahman which is associated with Maya and which has a name and form, Rupam, Nama Rupa, then there is automatically a Taratamyam, a gradation associated with all of those forms. Because it depends on karma, it depends on the portfolio that they are assigned, all that matters, and hence the gradation comes up as to whether they belong to the lower seven worlds or the upper seven worlds or which world in that. So if there is a Sajatiya Taratamyam, Vijatiya Taratamyam, there can be any kind of different kinds of gradation in this thing. Even if we wish to achieve the different lokas, we think that loka is better than bhumi. So bhuhu, and then you have bhuva, swaha, mahaha, janaha, tapaha, satyam. All of these worlds have people, jivarashis who are there, and obviously they would also be in some kind of an ananda. He says all of those are anandinaha lavaha. They have ananda, only a small portion of that ananda. It is not the infinite bliss that we are talking about. ननु एवं सति यथा समुद्रजलस्य नदीकूपतटाकादिभिः परिच्छिन्नत्वं तथा ब्रह्मानन्दस्य ब्रह्मादिभिः परिच्छिन्नत्वं एव सिद्धं. Now what happens? So when we are looking at the bliss, the ananda, the state of bliss that we are in, depending on the shariram that we have taken, we just saw that there is a gradation, taratamyam, that occurs. Then which means we are separating Brahman as from the different forms that we see, right? So the 14 worlds that are there, the lakhs and lakhs of bhutarashis that are there in the worlds, all of them seem to have some bit of anandam. There is a gradation in that anandam. We finished with that. Then evam sati, if this is the case, then just as how samudra jalasya nadi koopa tatakadibihi parichinnatvam vartate. In a big ocean, this water comes from river Ganga, this water comes from river Yamuna, this comes from the well, this probably just flows out from a lake that was there. So there are some differences that could happen. In the same way, Brahmanandasya api, I accept that Brahman is the supreme and it is the Adhara. Everything else is just a manifestation. And even within those different manifestations, there are different gradations of Ananda, which means we are saying that there is a division within the Brahman itself. Aren't we? So, Brahmanandasya Brahmadibhihi Parichinnatvam eva siddham. So in other words, we are only saying that Brahmanandasya Parichinnatvam. There is a separation in that Brahmananda among each entity. Brahmadibihi. So it is being confined by, if it is confined by the Shariram of Brahma, then there is this amount of, say, 99% of Ananda. If it is confined by Indra, there is 80% of Ananda. If it is confined by a Manushya, there is only 50% Ananda. So then we are looking at gradations within the Brahma Swarupa or Brahma Ananda itself. How is that possible? So Katham Akhanda Anandatvam Kincha Sarvesham Gatra Putra Mitra Kalatradishu Eva Prema Aspadatvam Drishyate. Then how are we able to see that, how is Akhanda Ananda even possible? How can a divisionless Anandam, bliss, possible? And Sarvesham Prema Aspadatvam, everybody has But see, if the Ananda is the same and it is only the covering that is different, the Nama Rupa are different, why is it that we only have an association towards our body and we have only association towards our friends, our wife, Kalatra, Putradishu, Prema Aspadatvam Drishyate. There is this quality of being only these people can receive my Prema. They become the recipient of my prema. Why is it that each one has a separate set of people who receive the prema? Why is it? Katham atmani premaspadatvam iti ashankyayam aha. Then how can I think of, how can I look at the Brahman and have a bhakti towards that Brahman? How can that Brahman be? So where is the difference? We only see that I love my body, I love my wife, or I love my children, my house. All of these seem to be a recipient of the prema. But we don't even realize it is all only through the Atma. He's going to come to that later. But where is the love for Atma then? What is happening to it? Kadam Atmani Prema Aspadatvam. Then how can we love? That is, where is the Ananda that we derive by showing an attachment towards the Atmaswarupa? Tad yuktam akhilam vastu vyavaharaha chidanvitaha tasmat sarvagatam brahma kshire sarpirihi iva akhile. For this shloka, it's best to go over the Vyakhyanam because he has something in his mind in a way to explain this. So akhilam Vastu tadyuktam. Tat is Brahma. It is connected with Brahman. Akhilam Vastu. Any object that you take. Deha, Indriya, Ghatapatadi, Vikarajatam, Samastam Vastu, Panchabhutika Prapanchaha. This entire world which is made up of the 5 elements and every object which is a transformation in the form of Deha, Indriya, Ghata, Pata, objects, body, Indriyas, Vikara, Jatam. Jatam refers to Samoham. The group of transformations in the form of Deha, Indriya, etc. All of these objects are made up of the 5 elements. But how is it? Tadyuktam. Tadyuktam nama Brahma Samanvitam. Satchabdavachyam Avidya Shabalam Brahma Chidanandamaya Brahma Pratibimba Samanvita Tamo Rajas Sattva Guna Prakriti Tamo Rajas Sattva Guna Prakritihi Dvividha Chasa Ityadi Shrutyadishu Karanasya Tad Yuktatva Pratipadanat. This entire Panchabhautika Prapancham is connected to Brahman. It is found along with Brahman. In other words, it is a manifestation or the Brahman is reflected in every object that is present in the world. What is the Yuktatvam? Yuj Yojane. It comes from the Dhatu connection. What is the connection between Brahma and all the objects in the world? He says, Sat Shabda Vachyam Brahma. Avidya Shabalam. It is mixed with the Avidya. Only if Brahman is present, then only Maya comes about, because Sattapo Tapyata Bahusyam Prajayayeti. He decided that he wanted to create all of these things, and that is why he created this illusion upon himself. So Avidya Shabalam. It is mixed with the Avidya or Maya. Brahma Chit Anandamaya Brahma Pratibimba Samanvita. This Maya seems to be a reflection of the Brahman, or the Brahman being reflected into all of these objects. Yes, there is a connection with Brahman, but there is no direct connection as to, someone has just broken a part of the Brahman and put inside each vastu. Tatha nasti. So he says it is just a reflection. The example you give is there is only one Surya. You have 5 different bowls of water. You have 5 different vessels of water. Inside each vessel, there will be one Surya. You have 5 people standing there and looking inside 5 of those vessels. All vessels will have one small sun inside them. So does that mean that there are 5 suns there? No, it's not. Nor do you break off the sun and put it inside 5 vessels. So it is a pratibimba. It is a reflection of that Brahman. within all of these objects. It is connected. So the Maya Samanvita, it is mixed with the Pratibimba, with the reflection of the Brahmachit Anandamaya Brahma, of the Anandamaya, the blissful Brahman. Tamo Rajas Sattva Guna Prakritihi. So Prakriti Maya also has the combination of Tamas, Rajas and Sattva Guna, all three gunas. Hence it is able to manifest itself into all of these forms. The moment you have the combination of gunas coming in, the pluses and minuses of each guna will contribute to transformations. That's what he's trying to say. So, tadyuktam, Brahma is there. Brahman has this Maya, and all of the vikaras, all of the transformation that you see is only on the surface. The Brahman is only a pratibhimbita vastu on all of these things. Like a clear water, a distilled water, or a muddy water, which can reflect sun accordingly. Dvividha sa ityadishu. So there can be two types of Maya. One which is connected with the Brahman, which is the pure Avyakta Maya. In Bhagavatam, when you talk about Avyakta, you usually say it is Maya which is not yet been completely separated into the objects of the world. The creation has not happened. It is the unmanifest Prakriti, unmanifest primordial matter. In English, that's how you say. So Avyakta. When it becomes Vyakta, the three gunas, there is a kshobha that happens. There is a catalyst that comes up, and all the three gunas start mixing up and going up and down, and that's when your Vishwa happens, the Sthula Prapancha happens. So that is the second part of the Prakriti. So Prakriti is divided into two. One as in the unmanifest, and then the manifest Prakriti. Karanasya tad yuktatva pratipadanat. Okay. Akashasanna, Vayusanna, Agnisanna, Apasanna, Prithvi Sati iti karyeshu sat. So Sat, that which exists. How does it exist? It exists as Maya. It also exists as Brahman, exists as Akasha, as Vayu, as Agni, as Apaha, water, and Prithvi. So it also seems to be connected with the Karyam also. Karana is Maya. It is connected with the Maya. It is also connected with the Karyam of the Mahabhutas. So, Karyeshu Sat, existing in the effects also, Anvaya Darshanat, there seems to be a connection. So, there is Brahman, Chit, and then you have Prakriti, then you have Panchamahabhuta. So, Prakriti becomes the Karanam, the Panchamahabhutas become the Karya, and Brahman seems to be associated with all of this. There are Shruti Pramanas for these things. Is that clear? So this is how we have to understand as Akhilam Vastu Tadyuktam. It is connected with Brahman. Next is Vyavaharaha Chidanvitaha. What is Vyavahara here? Vaidika Laukikatmakaha cha Antaraha Bahyaha Sarvaha api Chit Anvitaha. What is Vyavahara? Is any action, any kind of action. Action can be Vaidika action, Vedic actions. It can be Laukika action. Any kind of movement immediately translates to there is some consciousness that is acting upon the object for it to act in such a manner. Right? So, Antaraha, Bahyaha, Sarvaha. Whether it is Antaraha, that is the Manasika Vyapara. There is no, say, if I am continuously thinking as I am saying, there is no pramanam for the fact that I am thinking something. Or if I am saying and you are listening, whereas your mind is working something else, your mind is somewhere else. There is another vyavahara that is going on in the mind. That is the antara vyavahara. Bhakya vyavahara is looking there, looking here, looking down. All that is bhakya vyavahara. There can be so many different actions, whether it is related to extrinsic actions or intrinsic actions. So, Chid Anvita, either of those, there is this consciousness that works with the actions, whether it is inner action or outer action. So, Chit Anvitaha, Jnana Swarupena Brahmana Anvitaha Sanyuktaha. Jnana Abhave Vyavahara Abhava Darshanat. When there is no jnanam, when that chit is absent, even if you say he is in coma, yet you are keeping him, he is alive, in the sense there is a pranam that is going on, which is an antaravyavahara that is happening. Why don't you declare dead? It's because the chit exists. There is that consciousness that is there, which he seems to activate some inner vyavahara in which the organs are not yet failing, the organs are working. That is why you do not say there is nothing going on. When that chit is absent, that is when the whole computer shutdown happens, right? The body shutdown happens. So until jnanam is present, there is some kind of an activity that is going on. When that jnanam is not there, vyavahara abhavaha, there is no activity. Yena ikshate shrunoti idam jighrati vyakaroti cha swadu asadu aswadu vijanati tat prajnanam udiritam ityadi shrutehe. Shruti vakyam. It says yena ikshate. Probably Prashnopanishad, I'm not sure. So with what you see, with what you hear, you smell something, vyakaroti, there is a transformation of certain things, you understand, swadu, asadu, vijanati, one understands whether it is tasteful or not tasty. Tat prajnanam udiritam, that is the knowledge with which you respond to all of the indriyas actions. So prajnanam brahma is one of the Mahavakyam, right? So, tat prajnanam, it is only knowledge, right? Buddhi, it can be buddhi, no? Prajnanam Brahma is equal to, this is one of the Mahavakyam. Hence, it is only with the presence of Brahman that these activities go on in the body. Tasmat karanat satyajnana ananda swarupam param brahma akhile samaste kshire sarpihi ghritam iva sarvagatam vyaptam vartate. So that because of this association with everything, with all of the objects and with all of the vyavahara, all of the actions, we say that the Brahman is, it permeates everything. Akhile vastuni. So he says here, tasmat sarvagatam brahma akhile sarvagatam. Tasmat, because of that reason, akhile, in everything. No matter what, whether vastu or vyapara, vyavahara, everything. Sarvagatam, it is present everywhere. Brahma. The example he gives is kshire sarpihi iva. Just like how ghee is found in milk. How is it found in milk? You have to transform the milk into curds, and then you take the cream from the curds. The cream is then churned into butter, and then the butter is turned into ghee. Right? Sarpihi. Now this whole process starts from kshiram. Now inside the kshiram, if you, no matter how many times you filter it, you are not going to find ghee in it at all. Or try to remove, extract with a syringe, nothing is going to happen. It has to go through its transformations and you will find that there is ghee. It's like some maya is happening here. Some magic is happening that the milk turns into ghee. So where is the ghee found? It is found everywhere in the milk. You can't pinpoint and say this is where it is, this is where it is. So that's how you have to look at the body also and say, is the Brahman here? Is the Brahman in my hand, leg, mouth, eye, inside the manas, pranan? No, it just has its influence over everything, but it's not present in one particular part. Sarvagatam. So in the same way, macro level, it is present everywhere. Even in objects like Ghatapata Adishu. So sometimes we feel there is no Chaitanyam in the objects. Right? There is no it is not a sentient being, it is not present there. There was one reference by, I think, Sridhara Swami in his, in Bhagavatam, where he says, even mountains, objects that we think do not have a sentience, it actually has a chitvam in it. There is Brahman within it also, but the manifestation of it is not there as much as we see in certain objects or certain beings. So we see that the man seems to have more manifestation of the chit. Even within that, there is this taratamyam that we find. It's because of how much of awareness and how much of he can bring it out to show people that yes, there is this consciousness with which I am able to do so many things. Whereas in Ghatapatadi or books, mountains, objects which do not move, that sentience is in a very, very minute manner. That's all. That's how he takes it. Sarvatra vyaptam ghritamiva payasi nigudham bhute bhute cha vasati vijnanam. Just as how in milk you have this ghee somewhere, it is hidden. We don't know where it is. Bhute bhute, in the same way, in every object of the world, it is hidden. Brahma vasati. Brahman is present. It lives in every object. Tila madhye yatha tailam, kshira madhye yatha ghritam, pushpa madhye yatha gandhaha, phala madhye yatha rasaha. This is also another Shruti Vakyam. You can't, where is the oil inside a sesame seed? It is completely abhivyapaka. So when we, in grammar, when we use Saptami, there are three kinds of Saptami. So one is Vishaya Saptami, the other is Aupashleshika Saptami, third is Abhivyapaka Saptami. So when I say Asane Upavishami, I am not occupying the entire asana. I am only occupying the top portion of the asana. Upashlesha, there is only one small connection to the asana. Right? Pustake shlokaha vartate. It doesn't occupy the entire book there. So it is called Aupashleshika Saptami. When I say Vishaya Saptami, Rame Bhaktihi vartate. So I have a devotion towards Rama. Krishne bhaktihi, Gurau pritihi, Putre pritihi, Vatsalyam vartate. So there is a quality in somebody. So there it is a subject matter. With respect to this person as a subject, my affection has found its target, has found its subject matter. So Vishaya Saptami, the seventh vibhakti is used there to indicate that it is a subject matter. Vishaye. The last one is what we need. Jagati Brahma or Tile Tailam. In sesame seeds, Tailam is there. He says Abhivyapaka. It is completely absorbed or enveloped or permeates through the entire one sesame seeds. You can't say this seed cannot produce oil. No? Every seed can produce oil. And where is that oil? The oil is not found in just one portion of the seed. It completely envelops the seed. So Tile Tailam, that Saptami is called Abhivyapaka Saptami. So Tila Madhye Tailam, it is not why I came to that, why I had to explain that is, when you say Madhye, it doesn't mean that oil exists only in the middle portion of a sesame seed. Don't take that meaning. Tila Madhye ityukte Tile. So for constructing that shloka, he has used Madhye. You don't translate it as in the middle of sesame seed. You say within a sesame seed, inside that of a sesame seed, there is oil. So tila madhye yatha tailam, just as how oil is present completely within one seed. Kshira madhye yatha ghritam, just as how ghritam, ghee is present within milk. Pushpa madhye yatha gandhaha. Again, the flower, you take the flower, it's if the smell is present, it permeates the entire flower. Not only the petal or just the pollen grains or anything. It's a beautiful example. Phala madhye yatha rasaha. Just as within the phalam, the fruit, the rasam, the taste permeates through the fruit completely. Ādi Śrutehe tasmat brahmanaha aparichinnatvam eva natu parichinnatvam. So you cannot distinguish and say that Brahman, there is a taratamyam, there is a gradation within the beings that are there. Yes, that is the gradation is contributed by the upadhi. The gradation is not within the Brahman. Clear? So there is no paricheda, there is no distinction with respect to Brahman. Yatha ghrita vyaptataya kshire, tatha brahma vyaptataya dehadishu premaspadatva pratitihi iti cha siddham. This is a Brahmatma yogi state. How can you have love towards everybody else, all of the deha? Every body, every object becomes a recipient of prema only for a yogi, because the Brahman is permeating everything and he is there. A yogi who has the sarvatma bhava, a yogi who is in that Brahma bhava, for him everything is Brahman. So he has that natural affection towards everything else. That's all there is. It's as simple as that. No? Bringing it to practice is the tougher part. So, etena yena yat vyaptam tat tanmatrameva iti nyayena. So, that which covers or which envelops another thing. It is, if you say, so, for example here, tilam has oil in it. The oil completely is present within the sesame seed, which means tanmatrameva, the sesame seed is equal to sesame oil. So I can actually equate the two of them and say this is nothing but the oil. So it is the final transformation of the seed is an oil. The final transformation of kshira is ghritam. These two are given as examples for vivartavada, transformation. Whereas pushpamadhye gandhaha and phalamadhye rasaha, these two are in the sense of permeation, like pratibimba or something like that. It is vyaptam there completely. It is infused with it. That's all. Completely. So, yena yat vyaptam tat tanmatrameva. Hence, brahma vyaptam jagat sarvam brahmaiva. If Brahman envelops everything in this world, then this world is Brahman itself. There is no question about it. Right? Tadyuktam akhilam vastu vyavaharas anvitaha tasmat sarvagatam brahma kshire sarpihi iva akhile. Okay.